The Montreal Canadiens have been one of the best teams in not only the North Division, but really in the entire NHL through their first 6 games of the season. And they've jumped out to first place in their division with an impressive record of 4-0-2. The Habs have been lighting the lamp quite a bit so far this season and are first in the NHL with 29 goals for and are averaging 4.83 goals for per game. In today's video, I will be going over the hot start for Montreal and deciding whether or not they truly are the best team in Canada. Thanks for tuning in, and if you're interested in seeing more videos just like this in the future, consider hitting that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed today's video topic, feel free to also hit that like button. The Canadiens are in a great spot after the first full week of NHL action, sitting atop the North Division with 10 points. Above the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Winnipeg Jets, Edmonton Oilers, Calgary Flames, Vancouver Canucks, and Ottawa Senators. The Habs played a hard-fought first contest against one of their biggest rivals, the Maple Leafs, and ended up losing in overtime 5-4. They then beat the Edmonton Oilers in 2 straight games, outscoring them 8-2 in that span. And then they lost in a wild and entertaining 6-5 game that went into a shootout against Vancouver before beating those same Canucks handily 7-3 and then 5-2. Montreal will move on to play the Calgary Flames 2 times before the end of January and will then play Vancouver again twice before a home-and-home series with Ottawa. So, what has been the reason for this extremely hot start from the Canadiens? I would say it's been in large part thanks to many of the key acquisitions they made during the offseason, the progression of many of the younger players in the organization, and the fact that they have a very deep roster that is clicking on all cylinders through the start of the season. Tyler Toffoli, one of their acquisitions, has been leading the way offensively so far for this team and has 5 goals and 8 points through 6 games this year. Josh Anderson has also chipped in, bringing some offense and also some physicality and size to a team that was looked at as being small and soft last season in terms of their forward group. He also has 3 goals and 4 points through the first 6 contests. The Habs have also really enjoyed the presence of backup goalie Jake Allen, who has 2 wins in 2 starts and has statistically been the better goalie so far this year with a .907 save percentage and 2.01 goals against average. The good news is that Montreal has gone 2-0-2 with superstar Carey Price in net, despite lackluster numbers from him so far. An .893 save percentage and a 3.14 goals against average. You have to imagine that Price will only get sharper as the season moves along, and if Allen can continue to shut the door, it makes this one of the best goalie tandems in the entire league. Some of the younger players that I was referencing earlier include 21-year-old Nick Suzuki, 20-year-old Jesperi Kotkaniemi, and 21-year-old D-man Alexander Romanov. Suzuki has been high on my radar for sure after a stellar rookie season in 1920 and a big-time performance in the bubble during the NHL's return to play. So far, he has been excellent with 6 points in 6 games, as well as a fantastic 2-way game. Not only is he developing into one of the better defensive centermen in the league, he's also been a big part of the Canadiens' power play earlier on this year. This certainly has the looks of a potential breakout year for Suzuki, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's recognized as yet another NHL superstar by the end of the season. Kotkaniemi has also continued to build off of his strong finish to last season, and has 3 points in the first 6 games. And at only 20 years old, after being drafted number 3 overall in 2018, he certainly has room to grow and should eventually develop into one of Montreal's top 2 centers. Romanov has 2 points so far this season and is learning how to be a defenseman in the National Hockey League on the 3rd pairing for Montreal. The addition of him in the Habs lineup does give them a very dangerous player on each pairing, as Shea Weber is on the top, Petrie on the second, and Romanov on the third. Each of these defensemen have the ability to make plays happen and not only defend, but also chip in offensively when they get the opportunity. This is clearly the deepest roster that the Montreal Canadiens have had in several years, and the fact that they have 9 players on the roster with at least 4 points through 6 games definitely proves that. Toffoli is leading the way with 8 points. Then Jeff Petrie with 7, followed by Tatar, Suzuki, and Drouin with 6 apiece. Joel Armia has 5, and then Anderson, Gallagher, and Weber all have 4 as well. Their lines are incredibly deep as well, with Tatar, Deneau, and Gallagher on the top line, followed by Drouin, Suzuki, and Anderson rounding out the top 6. And on the third line, you have Toffoli with Kotkaniemi and Corey Perry, who's in the lineup with Joel Armia out, and then a fourth line with Lehkonen, Evans, and Byron. This gives the Canadiens a top 9 group with scoring weapons on each line, and a fourth line that can bring energy and occasionally chip in with some offense here and there. And then, on the back end, you have Ben Sherratt and Shea Weber on the top pairing to shut things down, trade acquisition Joel Edmondson and Jeff Petrie on the second pair, and then veteran Brett Kulak with the rookie Alexander Romanov to round out the decor. And to add to all this, you have world-class talent Carey Price in net, with one of the best backups in the league and Jake Allen to take some of the load off of Price. So, am I ready to say that the Montreal Canadiens are the best team in Canada after the first 6 games of the season? Not quite yet. Of course, they have one of the deepest and most balanced rosters in the division, and some would say the entire league, but we are only just over a week into the season, and I'm going to stick with my pick that the Toronto Maple Leafs are going to win this division. I do think, however, that the Habs should finish higher than the 4th spot, which is where I picked them to finish at the start of the season. But there is so much competition among this group, and there are no easy games on the schedule. I would love to see a Toronto-Montreal matchup in the playoffs, and I think it's definitely possible that we might see it. Let me know down in the comments who you think has the best team in Canada. Is it Montreal, Toronto, another? And let me know if you want to see another breakdown of another team in a similar type of video. Thanks so much for watching.